Welcome to the intro. I'm Damhnait Doyle, and today on the show we're featuring genre-shifting artist and producer Debby Friday. Here she is with So Hard to Tell. That song shows a different side of you. You know, musically, it's different than previous work that you have released. How did it come about?
Yeah, so it was kind of a surprise when I was working on the album. Just one day, like I kind of work on something every day, like something creative every day. And so on just one of my regular work days, I was sat down in Logic and I found the sample that's like the da-na, da-na, na-na, na-na. Basically, I found that like the skeleton of that sample. And so I built a beat around it. And then I opened my mouth to sing and just this high-pitched voice came out of me, which is not my usual. And so it was a surprise for me as well. Yeah.
Lyrically, too, it's really quite vulnerable. Who are you singing to in that song?
Definitely singing to a past version of myself, like I think a younger version of myself. And I'm singing from this place where it's like I know what she's been through, I know the experiences she's had, and I know the feelings that she's feeling in the moment. And so in a way, part of it is both comforting and also just like trying to reflect that back to her and just letting her know it's like, I know, girl, it's hard to tell what's going on right now.
If you had to describe who that girl was today, could you do that?
I could try, yeah. She was definitely bold and courageous. But she's also messy and a little bit chaotic. But she was fun, you know, just I think a wilder version of how I am now as a person because I've calmed down a lot. But she had her quirks and her things, and I love her very much. And I respect the journey that she's been on, because it was through going through that I am where I am today, and I am who I am today as well.
How did you get into music in the first place?
The way I started my career really was just through partying, was like the first thing, because I was definitely like a party girl, party queen. And it was through that I started meeting a lot of people who were DJs. And I started off as a DJ, actually. And I was introduced through a lot of musicians in the scenes, and like just especially women who were DJing. And then from there, I DJ'd for a little under a year. And after that is when I decided, I was like, okay, well, I want to make my own music. And so I taught myself how to produce. And I made my first EP in 2018. And that one's called Bitch Punk. Yeah.
It's great. I love it. Curious, what was that journey like from being a club kid to where you are now? Obviously, you had to make some changes.
I just loved music. Like, I've always loved music. I never thought I'd be a musician, but I have always loved music. And it wasn't until I started DJing that I started realizing, like, oh, like, people can actually make careers out of this. Like, you can make a living through doing art and through doing music. And it kind of got the gears in my brain turning. And then yeah, I had this experience where I always call it like my nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
But essentially what happened, it's like, all the structures in my life completely dissolved themselves. And it's one of those moments where you kind of just have to face yourself, and you have to decide, like, what path are you going to take? And so with that, I left Montreal, because I had been in Montreal, pretty much my whole life. Like, it's my hometown. And so I left Montreal, moved across the country, taught myself how to produce, made my EP. And after I put out that EP, that is when everything changed for me in my life, like, completely.
You've also talked about that period of life as being some, that was filled with some mental health issues, some substance abuse issues, and stupid love is what you said.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Previously, not in a very constructive way, definitely. I think I kind of spiraled a little bit because I didn't have the tools necessarily, but I kind of learned how to deal with it through channeling all of that into my creative impulses. I think I kind of just ended up redirecting my energy, because I still have that energy, like that spunk that it's always been a part of me, and it's just like who I am, but you just have to like channel it into different arenas. And so I was able to do that.
Oh, that's, a lot of the music community, myself included, have chosen sobriety and clarity more and more every single year. I'm just curious how making that choice has impacted, both your life and your art.
I think it's made my life and my art exponentially better, just because it's given me this clarity that I otherwise wouldn't have had. At least for me, the way that I was using substances was as a form of escapism. And it was a way of like dealing with intense emotions, because I'm a very sensitive person. And so once that was out of the picture, essentially, like, I had to develop like new tools to like deal with those sensitivities and with those emotions. And I was able to channel it into art, and it's made my art better. It's made me a better artist, made me a better person, like, and it has given me my career and my life back, essentially.
Oh, I love hearing stories like that. I hear a lot of lightness and darkness in your music. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How do you balance, that shadow self and all of this new light that you're creating?
I kind of try to approach it just from like a human perspective, because it's something everyone goes through. I think like everyone suffers and everyone experiences joy. Everyone experiences the full spectrum of emotions. It's part of the human experience. So when it comes to balancing it, I think I just try to just do everything in moderation in a way. Like, I try to approach with a certain level of moderation, and then also with a vision. Like, I'm very focused on what it is that I know that I want and what I want to build, the things I want to do. And I just kind of keep that in mind all of the time.
Can you tell me about this next song you're going to play? Good luck.
Yes, so this is the title track for the album, and it was one of the earlier songs that I had written actually. And similar to So Hard to Tell, it's me speaking again of this like younger self, of this past self. And the title track kind of explains the title of the album as well, and this idea of journey. And when someone is going off on a journey and they're going on this, whatever adventure they might be going off on, what do you tell them? You say, good luck, and I'll see you when I see ya. And so that's the vibe.
Oh, it was a rainy night when I heard him say, wake up, fire child. You going out today. You better put your boots on, girl. You better look up. You got things to do. You got a lot to prove. Go and make your way. Don't you mess it up. Give it what you got. Said don't you mess it up. Get it while it's hot. Oh, it was thundering down when I felt the sun rays. Speak up, fire child. Sing what you came to say. You better tell the truth now, girl. You better look up. Don't you let me down. Let me hear you now. Sing what you came to say. Don't you mess it up. Give it what you got. Say don't you mess it up. Get it while it's hot. You mess it up. Good luck. Give it what you got. Good luck. Don't you mess it up. Good luck. Get it while it's hot. Said don't you mess it up. Give it what you got. Don't you mess it up. Get it while it's hot.
I know you said you were singing to yourself in that song, but can you dive a little bit further into those lyrics? Because to me, it also sounds like you're singing to your future self.
Definitely. I think I knew when I first started making this album that it was going to be just a different adventure. Like it was going to be like another level to my career, to my artistry, and even like personally and professionally. I knew that it was just going to be this next step in my journey. And so it almost has this prophetic feeling. Because I think I knew at the time when I was writing it, even I was just like, this is going to change a lot for me. And there's going to be a lot of things coming, things that I've wanted, things that will surprise me, all of that. And so I think I was just really trying to capture that feeling of premonition and hope.
Manifestation.
Yeah, almost in a way, yeah.
I want to talk about how you write lyrics. It seems to me you're very disciplined in the way you approach your work.
Yes, I am. And disciplined, like in the sense of I try to do something creative every day because I think creativity is like a muscle. So you
Absolutely.
snooze, you lose.
Hmm.
Some days I might write, some days I might work on music, other days I might do other things like my astrology projects, or I might work on like a script or something, or, do like visual research or whatever it is, but I just try to do something every day. I don't think that I could ever be like the type of artist to just do one thing
Yeah.
because I really like doing a lot of things and I like doing them at the same time. So they just all feed into each other and it's just like it comes out the way it's going to come out.
It used to be really difficult for women to break into production. Do you feel that's still the case?
I feel confident in my skills as a producer and a songwriter. Like I don't feel any sense of intimidation because I mean, if they can do it, I can do it too. So I don't feel intimidated at all. I feel really, really good about where I'm going as well. And I also feel once again, it's this thing about being clear-minded and just knowing what it is that you want. Like I know what I want to do as far as like production and like where I want to be and the types of people I want to collaborate with.
What are your future goals?
I have a lot of goals. Some of them are secrets, so I won't say all of them. But I definitely, with this album, like it's lived up to my expectations and more. I feel like it's really changed a lot for me, and I'm going in the direction I want to go in. I want to make more music. I want to develop as a filmmaker as well. Like I'm hoping to make my first feature film in the next couple of
Amazing.
years, and just to keep exploring my creativity.
You're going to play one more song for us.
Yes.
It's called What a Man. What can you tell me about that song?
Yeah, so What a Man is a song that's about heartbreak. It's about this experience of love that a lot of women, I think, can relate to, where you meet a guy, you idealize the person, and you think he's so great, and then you figure out, oh, he's just a man, just a person, just a man. So it deals with that kind of like disappointment and heartbreak. And the music video in particular kind of speaks once again to this experience that I feel is very common for a lot of women. And it references art history. And in particular, it's this painter. Her name is Artemisia Gentileschi. And she was basically one of the only working female painters during her time. Unfortunately, she had this experience where she was assaulted by a man, and her way of getting revenge was to essentially draw herself in these biblical self-portraits, and she would paint her assailer as the man she was beheading or slaying. So we recreated some of her paintings in the music video. It's kind of like speaking to this shared experience that a lot of women have. Yeah, that's it. I'll leave it at that.
I had a man, he loved me so. His heart was small, it wouldn't go. I loved a man, I loved him well. My love was strong, he couldn't tell.
walking the knife edge between the darkness and the light. That was Debby Friday. If you want to know more about Debby Friday, head on over to cbcmusic.ca/the intro.